What's up, everybody? It's Anthony White here, and I'm going to show you another one of my favorite bodybuilding meals. This is what I like to call my bodybuilding stew. Let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner on high. Start with about 3 bottles of water here in my big pot. There's 1, 2, 3. That's a good starting point. We'll leave it on high till it gets to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat to medium temperature. So as you can see, I have a skillet over here and a spatula ready to go, and a lid. So we'll let that go ahead and boil up, and we'll get started on the vegetables. So on the table here I have all the ingredients for the stew. You got a bag of frozen vegetables, mixed vegetables, about 1.5 pounds of the leanest hamburger that you can get. Back here are some bouillon cubes. I have some peeled carrots, an onion, got some potatoes, and a whole thing of celery. I got my chopping board and my knife ready to go, so let's get started. First things first, my water's hot enough, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to medium now. And it can just sit there while I get the vegetables ready. Okay, so I'm going to start by chopping up some potatoes. The first ingredients that are going to go in is the potatoes, celery, and carrots will all go in at the same time right at the beginning. So let's go ahead and get everything chopped up. And there you have it. Potatoes are ready to go in, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop these into the water real quick. Next we're going to do the carrots. These will cut up pretty fast. I'm going to start with the ones here that are mostly the same length. I'll just get rid of the ends. I'm not interested in that. Well, hey, look at that. That looks pretty good. So here we go. And voila, already done cutting carrots. Those don't take too long. I'm going to go ahead and add those to the water as well. Next we're going to go ahead and do the celery. It's another thing I don't spend a whole lot of time on. I get these weird leafy pieces out of the center. I don't know what you would call it, the celery, I don't know, hearts maybe? Well, whatever it is, we don't want it. Let's get it out of there. Okay, that's good enough for me. You know, I'm not really worried about things being too perfect here. As you'll notice, most of my vegetable chopping sizes kind of vary. I'm not really overly concerned about getting things the same size either. Not with the stew. You know, if I was going to stir fry the vegetables, you would want them to be real evenly cut because they cook more evenly, but in a stew everything's just kind of boiling and simmering, so it doesn't matter as much. Let's start on the celery. Cut the ends off here, and we're going to go to town and cut this up quick. Okay, and that's good enough for me. I'm going to add the celery right in the water. So the potatoes, carrots, and celery are in, and I cranked the temperature back on high for now until it gets to a rolling boil. And this is kind of what it looks like so far. Most of the celery is on the top there. Now that it's boiling, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the temperature to medium. I'm going to cover this, and then it'll be 20 minutes before we add anything else to this. So in the meantime, let's cut our onion. With the onion, I just take the ends off. So take this end off, flip it around, get the other side. This becomes trash, that's waste. And then you peel the outside of the skin off. I like to make a cut to get it started, and then I peel the outside layer. See, my cat's coming up here to pay us a visit. His name is Cheese, and he wants to help. So there we go, we got the skin off of the onion. I'm going to throw all of this stuff, this waste away. And let's get it all chopped up here. And that's how we do that. Still got the other vegetables over there simmering. So just waiting for that right time to add the onion. So it's been going now for about 20 minutes. We'll go ahead and add the onions we chopped here. I'm going to cover that back up. I'm going to turn it back on high for a second till it reaches a rolling boil again. And then we'll turn it back down to medium and let that go for 20 minutes again. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that to take place, I'm going to go ahead and start browning some hamburger in the skillet and getting approximately 10 bouillon cubes open. For the hamburger, I like to go like a medium to a medium high temp. I'm going to take our spatula here and start kind of chopping the meat up a little bit. So that looks like it's boiling again. Let's go ahead and turn that back down to medium for 20 minutes. As I'm waiting for the hamburger to heat up, I'm getting these bouillon cubes ready. They come in these little stubborn, hard to open packages. I guess you could just get granulated bouillon, but for some reason I like to do things the hard way, and I get these square cubes. But I'm going to open about 10 of them. And those are ready to go for later. We may end up needing more, but that's just a good starting point. No sooner than we finish the bouillon cubes, the hamburger has started to sizzle. There's no major secret to browning hamburger. You just basically brown it over a medium to medium high temperature till it's all thoroughly browned. I stir it pretty frequently and chop it as it's cooking. Like, just use the spatula and really grind it up thin so you have kind of a loose meat consistency. And I just do this over the course of time while it's browning until it's done. If I had to guess, I would say it probably takes maybe around 10 minutes to brown hamburger at this temperature, give or take. So I stir it and mince it, and then I leave it, because if you let it sit for a little while too, it allows it to get hot and cook through. So I'll leave that sit, come back to it maybe in a minute or two and stir it some more. Alrighty, so that's mostly browned. I'll let it sit here and go for just a little bit longer. So it's been another 20 minutes, so we're ready to add the last 3 ingredients. Pull this lid off here. I've chosen to add a whole bag of mixed vegetables. Obviously, you know, if you wanted to separate it and do canned corn and canned peas or whatever, you could do that. But I've chosen to do a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. Just your plain old variety of mixed vegetables there. I'm going to take a spoon here and kind of stir it in. So those are still mostly frozen, so that'll cool the overall temperature down here, which is fine while I'm getting ready to add the other ingredients. Going to add our 10 bouillon cubes. I'm going to take this hamburger meat and I'm going to go ahead and drain it, because it's not looking quite as lean to me as it was advertised by the supermarket there. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to drain that out, probably in the trash. And that's what happens when you buy from secondhand supermarkets. But with the coronavirus floating around, apparently everybody wanted to buy 93% hamburger, so I had to take what I could get. Anyway, that's drained pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and add that right in too. Okay, so now we have all of our ingredients in here. I just want to kind of try to get them stirred together and mixed the best I can. This thing is kind of overflowing here a little bit. This is going to be a very hearty stew, I can already tell. And it's at this point where I like to evaluate if it might need a little bit more water. So I'm just going to add a little bit. You don't want it to be too close to the top. It starts boiling over. So that's probably good. I'm going to crank this sucker back on high and wait for it to start boiling again. Okay, now that it's boiling, I'm going to reduce the heat back to medium. And I'm going to let that go for maybe 10 more minutes, 15 at the most. I'm feeling 10 today. About halfway through that final 10 minutes, I try to stir it around just a little bit. And then what I really want to do here is get a taste of that broth to make sure I have enough beef bouillon in there. But obviously it's going to be very hot, so I got to let it cool for a second. It's tasting pretty brothy. So I got 5 minutes of cook time left. I can decide whether or not I want to add any more bouillon to it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another bouillon cube or two.
Let's get my Christmas tree from. Oh, it's down basement. Let me go find it. Dad, where's the basement?
The basement is downstairs.
I don't see it. Dad, I don't see it.
You don't see the basement? I see the basement. It's right over there. So add my last two bouillon cubes here.
I see it. It's right there. Let's get my Christmas. Yeah, this is a camcorder.
It is a camcorder. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover that back up and let it finish its last 5 minutes.
Oh, can it shoot?
You want to say hi to everybody, William?
Hi.
That's William. That's my son. He is almost 3 years old.
There's nobody in that camcorder. See, move the camcorder with it shoots videos.
Okay, so the final 10 minutes of cooking is up. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this off of the hot burner and let it just rest. And that's all there is to it. Easy peasy. I divide that into 6 meals, 5 Tupperwares in a bowl, because I'm going to eat some right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and probably freeze a couple of them so they'll keep later in the week. Anyway, I hope you all liked this video, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.